Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Grizzly on the Hunt. I've got Psychic Medium Brian from Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome. How's everybody doing this evening? Yes, you can support me by sending stars and help me earn more content. I got that set up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Hey, Crazy Witch. Coming around the corner. Here he comes alongside the rail. Yes. Hello, Yolanda. I was letting him know about the title of the book. Yes. Angel Light. Welcome. Yes. Lucy, welcome to the show. Welcome, everybody. So, I hear that you're going on an adventure. I hear, Brian.
Yeah, actually, tomorrow I'm going. No,
Hey,
for those who know about Toronto, Ontario, Canada, there's a castle in Toronto. It's called Castle Loma, which is, by the way, Spanish for Hill House. And I'm going down there because it's allegedly one of the most haunted households in Toronto. I've been there before many times and that. So I'm going there for tomorrow just for a tour and hopefully making with any spirits that are there. And so it's gonna be really exciting, and just the history behind it, and that is fascinating.
Well, I'll tell you what was fascinating, ladies and gentlemen. So I did a session in between shows with my twin dolls. One is supposed to be good and one's supposed to be evil. One has more power than the other. So it freaked me out. I had to end the session 3 times. I actually took my tape gun with the super duper heavy sticky tape that I taped down, and you can listen how sticky that is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and they're already putting happy faces up and laughing emojis, and I'm uploading to TikTok, and I'm going to put it on Facebook. This is for tomorrow's show, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm telling you, and it freaked me out so bad I had to stop it 3 times. And every time I stopped the camera, the EMF was like pegged out. It would not stop. I mean, it looked like I had like a car battery like hooked up this EMF detector. And I was like, are you like that evil? And it would like react. And it literally took a cat ball toy and ripped it off the chest of one of these dolls during the filming. And it freaked me out that bad. I was like, I'm done. And then the EMF just went back. And then, okay, I got my composure, ladies and gentlemen. And I went back and I start filming it again. And then the EMF got ripped off the chest and slid. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this EMF detector was taped around the chest of this doll underneath the armpits. So it literally was like hold. And you can see, I mean, it freaked me out. I'm sorry. I was like, do you want me to throw holy water all over your ass? You know, and then the EMF detector started going on. I was like, man, are you that damn evil? I'm like, are you that mad at me? You know, I mean, what? I mean, come on. I'm like, now, and then I asked, which one of y'all is more powerful than the other? Because the psychics have told me one has got more power over the other, and I got a reaction out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Especially when the two
whoa,
combined forces.
yes. So, yeah. So y'all, and I have one person, and I'm not going to mention the person's name. They're like, Grizzly, you need to get rid of all of them. And one wants me to set them on fire. I'm like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Set them on fire? No, you don't want to burn them. That's the
No, they're too
worst thing you want
cute.
to do. Oh my gosh, too cute. You sound like Derek.
Yeah, I've been on here too long.
And that's like I went to his live show today, ladies and gentlemen, and he was singing the some, not the Follow the Yellow Brick Road song, but the Seven Dwarf song or something. And I'm like, what in the hell? I was like, what? And he was just singing. And I got
Oh,
him to sing. I got him and his daughter to sing a quickie wiki, off Transformers, right? That little phrase, and then in their language, it's funny because they're from the UK, Yorkshire. I know how that UK accent, and that was like waka waka, and they kept saying it, and I'm roaring.
that sounds like Kelly.
So, but why do I keep them? Because FDL Paranormal had this bright idea. So what happened was I got him out of an antique shop and thought we were going to do a show about haunted items and haunted
Kelly,
vessels, and I was gonna make them and dress them up and smear makeup on them and have a show on them. But anyways, and I was actually gonna get rid of them, and I went to some Facebook groups. I'm like, hey, I've got these dolls for sale. I'm having problems with them, and let's get rid of them. And everybody was like, well, I want some testimonials. And here comes Jackie, and we're gonna get rid of Jackie. Somehow we're gonna get rid of her tonight. I don't know what it is with you and Jackie and Brian, but anyways, so then, and it's just a long story. So now, hey, Joanne, welcome to the show. But
yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
so
that's the one thing
FDL
about
talked
those
me
two
into keeping
dolls.
them, and now we're doing shows with them
Yeah,
about haunted items and vessels. So every week we're taking these dolls and we're doing sessions with them with EMF detectors, REM pods, cat balls, and talking to them. I do
that's
not
one of their
like talking to them.
favorites is the cat
No, it's
balls.
not. It ain't my favorite. You're crazy. Tell me it's my favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, we might as well just go ahead and just have a party. Yeah. No, we're not having no party with the dolls. Johnny, you're always working, man. Yeah. We're gonna send Jackie to Brian. Absolutely, we need to do something because
I'll give
even
it to the wife.
Lala was like, you need to do something. I mean, she called me up the other day. She was worried about me. Angel, I'm glad you people get the most amusing attributes off of me. Kelly, welcome back, Kelly. You and I got to talk. Brian, I'm still getting paranormal activity in the house on Saturday night, early hours in the morning. I was sitting down on my couch, and all of a sudden I heard a plate being across the sea. Oh, hell no to the no on that. You remember that guy that died? Hell no. Hell to the no, no, no. You remember
Oh
him in
yeah,
the
she
white
still got
suit?
to react to place.
She needs my spiritual warfare kit's what she needs.
Oh
You
yes.
know, and Kelly, if you don't know what that entails, I'll bring up a picture here in my hand. I'll bring up a picture right now. I got my Facebook up. I usually don't talk about it on these shows, but I usually bring it up on my demology. I can't even talk. My demology. I can't whatever shows I do on Sunday
Demonology.
nights demonology shows.
Yeah.
I can't even talk. But let me show you what it is. It's a kit I put together. Everything's been blessed. Because I am a reverend. Get the holy water from a church out of Lexington before I moved. I can't even talk, but the priority it's for the United States only. Because if it's out of the country,
I love
you
you
have
too,
to pay
Kelly.
for the the shipping out of the country. They probably think I'm shipping alcohol. But here's what it looks like. And there's certain things that you have to do to get this thing to work. What do you mean you love Brian? God, I don't. Nobody tells me they love me. What?
We all love Grizzly.
Man, that hurt my feelings. All right, here's a picture of what the spiritual warfare kit looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Because I do. This is what what comes in it. It's a kit. These are items that we put across in the house, outside the house, that we bury. These are 2 crucifixes with Saint Benedict's, and these are special crosses. The holy water you do not put on people's food or drinks because it's got chlorine in it because of I almost said the Cornelius virus. That's Beavis and Butthead. Because of the COVID virus we had, because they had to put bleach water in the fountain for the holy water. A blessed white candle. These are St. Benedict's crosses for exorcism and stuff. But each of these things, there's special prayers that you have to do. But anyways, but yeah. But Kelly, you may be interested in something like that. But well, thank you, Joanne. I'm glad somebody loved me. That really kind of hurt my feelings. So yeah, Brian, you're my adopted granddad. Well, I don't want me to call granddad. What the hell?
No, I'm the
I love you too. Thank you, Yolanda. I feel a lot better now. Larissa Nicole Hockett. Yeah, hello. Welcome to the show. Kelly's laughing. I'm glad you're laughing. Oh, cool. It is cool. A lot of people that actually purchase it. I'm not in it to make money, ladies and gentlemen. The shipping is, I think, $13.50 or $12.75 for priority shipping. I think it's setting off. I think I'm like $3.83 a kit. So yes, it's Twisted Witch. Yes, I know, Yolanda. It was Beavis in the ditch. Do what? I know, right? So yeah, but I do, and if you need the crucifixes, the blue ones separately, I do sell those separately. They're all blessed and everything. And these are not cheap. These are the real deal ones. They're not plastic. These are actual metal. They're not plastic and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, they are. But you can hang them. I'll recommend hanging them above doorways once we do our things and so forth. Hello, Nicole. Welcome. Yeah, Yolanda, I'm glad you're not drunk. Thank you, Sean. I love you too. Thank you. Hey, Mort, welcome to the show. Hey, what's shaking and baking? So you're going on a trip. So that's awesome. So I understand last time you went on a trip, you got an EVP that said, what?
Oh, yeah, well, last time I went to the castle and I was down in the tunnel, and I just asked, I said, is there anybody down here with me? And I asked my guide, and he said, yeah, there's one person drawn close. I kept running the voice recorder, and what I got was, Brian.
Yeah, oh, hell no.
And
that's why I keep holy water right next to me.
And it was so clear, it was a class A. And but I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman because it was a whispering. But there is one individual in the tunnel that pushes people, and I think I know who it is, and that this guy hated people but loved horses. Well, Sir Henry had all kinds of horses because he was in horse racing. And anybody that went near a horse, he would be like a mother hen, towards the horses and chase them off. And so I thought that was kind of
That's
interesting in that.
crazy.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. But the
That's
sad part
crazy.
is he can only live in the castle. I think it was 11 or 12 years, and he was forced to move out. And that
Hey, Nikki,
because of
welcome
the
to the show.
yeah, because of the stock market crash, he lost all of his wealth. He couldn't pay anything, so he was forced to. I think he moved in with his his chauffeur, his butler, or someone, and that. But they believe that when he passed, and that he went right back to the castle, and he's been there ever since.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
That's interesting.
Nikki.
That's
But then,
wild.
yeah, I'll tell you one thing, and that because I don't know how many people here are in Canada, and that one thing I was going to suggest: go to YouTube, type in Casaloma tours, and they'll give you a brief tour of of the inside of the castle. Beautiful. It's almost enchanting.
See, we actually had a castle in Lexington, Kentucky, that was brought over from, I think, England, brick by brick, and it was in for sales. I can't remember the name of the highway, so it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's right out the
I would love
Spadina.
to live in a castle too. So
I tell you, it'd be a bitch to heat. And
yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't want to
So
have to clean the floors.
no, no, I wouldn't either. What do you? So when you go on these investigations and stuff, being psychic and everything like you are, how do you know things though? That's how does that work for you?
Well, what I do, and I'll give you an example for tomorrow. Although tomorrow I can say it's a bit contaminated because I already have prior knowledge of it. But if I didn't, if it was my first time going in, what I would do is I go in with a team, and that when I go into a certain area, and that and I I just open up my mind. I say I get my guide to tell whoever's there come forward if they wanted to say anything, if they want to give me any feelings. I just basically open myself up to their feelings, their thoughts, if they want to talk or what have you, and that. And usually, what will happen with me is I'll get small, almost like small snapshots, like small photos in my head of what they used to do. Sometimes I'll get a name, I might get a date, um, and then it's just a question of piecing the information to the person, and that, and also the one thing I love doing is getting names and finding out who the names belong to. Like I think it was yesterday that I got names of oh crap, did I help with this? I got the name Florence, and I got the name Cynthia. But she preferred to call us be called as Cindy, I think. And there were I think two maids, or they're in service to the upper levels. I got that yesterday. So when I go there tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can possibly find the people that the names are connected to, and that I might not, I don't know, and that. But I just open myself up, and that I get my guide to do most of the work. I just ask him if he can, whoever he can find, if the people want to come forward, and if they don't want to talk, I can't force them in that. But if they do want to say, okay, bye, I'm happy.
Yeah, if you could, can you type in the name of that castle so I can copy and paste that? And while you're doing that, here's the twins I did a session with, ladies and gentlemen. So the one on the right is the one that I had the EMF taped to her chest. And the one right here, I had the ghost ball taped to her chest. Or not the ghost ball, the cat ball. So while Brian's typing out the castle, I'll copy and paste that so you all can see, and into the comments. For some reason, I don't know why the co-host can't talk to you guys, and I'm trying to get StreamYard to fix that. I don't understand that. But these are the twins, and these are the ones that Brian and the other people that have a bill says this one has more power over this one. Don't ask me why.
Why?
But they are different. Now this one, the ribbon on the video. Well, I ain't gonna tell you no more because it's gonna spoil it. But it actually freaked me out that bad. So, but yeah, they. So what happened? So the backstory, ladies and gentlemen, I was in Madison, Indiana, with my parents, and I love antiques, and I was in an antique store. As I was walking down this aisle.
Excuse me, sir.
And I was like, that's a child. Well, the aisles were small, so I thought a child was behind me. So I turned around and I was like, excuse me. Well, nobody was there. So I was like, what? I was like, oh, it's just some kids in the other aisle or somewhere, next to me. And I looked to the right and there was these dolls. So, hey, Luna, welcome to the show. Nice to have you back. And make a long story short, there were 4 of them. Well, I was like, hey, lady. I was like, I want to buy 2 of these dolls. She said 4. I was like, 2. She said 4. And I'm like, 2, 4, 2, 4. I was like, all right, 4. She said 2. Well, on the way out, there was another one, a topsy-turvy doll, very old, handmade. One's a white doll, and you flip it over. It's an African-American doll, handmade. It was in a glass case. Number 1 sign, glass case. Hint, hint. So I ended up walking out with 5 because you had to buy them in a lot, the 4. Well, I was going to put makeup on some of these and make them look kind of creepy and put them on one of these paranormal shows. Well, that was the wrong thing to think of because I didn't know that there was an attachment to these dolls. And Jackie, I found out, is a person that has disabilities that passed away and has a mind of a child, and she was upset because I was disrespecting her dolls on one of my shows, and I was going to have each show and let somebody name these dolls, and we were going to have fun with them. Well, she did not like that, and she caused hell and havoc on my live shows. I'm talking poltergeist activity. Whoa. And I'm talking on my shows, like dropping my backdrops, collapsing my backdrops, breaking my backdrop frames, throwing books off my backdrop. Yes. I mean, it was like I was throwing holy waters. I was cutting my live feeds. It was freaking me out. I mean, I was jumping. I was falling out of my chair. I mean, just all kinds of crazy stuff you would not believe. I mean, it was live, uncut, raw. I mean, I had to put extra cameras up to show people that it was no strings were attached. And it was freaking people out. Oh, let me get your castle here. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here blabber jawing like a.
Hey, don't worry
but anyways, so before I did all this stuff, I was showing the people on the panel these dolls, and all the psychics were like, ah! And I'm like, what are you doing that for? They're like, you shouldn't have bought those. I'm like, what do you mean I shouldn't have bought them? They're like, that's got bad mojo energy. I'm like, now you tell me. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Call you and be like, look, hold up. Should I buy this? Should I buy this? Should I? I'm like, yes, you should call us before you buy stuff. Or you should ask them, you should cleanse it and do your stuff before you bring it home. And I'm like, well, now you tell me. So, and ladies and gentlemen, just because you cleanse something doesn't mean it works the first time. Everybody thinks that you can go home, you can go into houses and cleanse the house and then you're done. That's not how it works. I wish it was that easy, ladies and gentlemen. No. So yes, that's not the case. So yes, I took it out of the case because I had to bring it home, Yolanda. But anyway, so ever since then, Jackie will appear in bright lights, and that's why I sit in the dark. And one of the shows earlier, I had to take my camera, the 1.6 over here, and show everybody, I'm in the dark. There ain't no lights that's shining above me. that's Jackie playing, because she's very playful and she's a trickster.
Oh yeah.
Now the other ones I couldn't tell you. So this is why I don't bring anything ancient,
Maybe
etc.
like
Yes,
the
Angel,
twins?
you're right. Kelly, I'm glad you're loving it. So, but Kelly is going to be on one of my shows because she has got some awesome stories to talk about and some encounters that
Oh yeah.
she has. I mean, really, I mean, I would love to have her on some of my shows, talk
Oh
about
yeah.
some of her stuff that she has. Gee, Grizz, pay for the case next time. Yeah, right. Next time, how about
Yeah.
just not even buy them? So I had somebody contacted me that had $9. They're like, you need to buy these dolls. And see that light? Did you see that light? That is no lights in my studios, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah. I know.
I'm up for that X. So yes, yeah, you are. Angel Light.
Oh,
Now I'm glad Angel.
you
I'm glad
lover.
see.
You an absolute lover.
Yeah, you always sit in the dark though. Me too. Love to hear Kelly. I know. I would too. So
Oh,
yeah. So earlier during Kelly Joe show, see that light? Did you see it?
it's quite
See it?
lightning.
Right there. Right there. I have no lights going on, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a filter. That's nothing. So yes, that is Jackie. She is
Yeah.
playful. Now, if I get
Yeah.
a cat ball out and put it on my mic stand, you will see it activate. And you think I'm joking?
Oh yes.
You think, yeah? Here we go,
And,
ladies and gentlemen.
you can't get over those two dolls that you showed earlier. Because should they be mischievous apart, when you put them together, we're talking mischievous overload. But the one thing I find is so funny, well, I find it funny, and that is that they love to watch your reaction to what they do next. They love
Dang,
the
the
reaction.
desk just moved. I did not like that. So I got two things underneath my desk, ladies and gentlemen. So
That,
one thing you can
that,
exercise on, and it just moved. Now the other thing massages your feet. The thing that next to me massages my feet, the thing that rotates, the
oh yeah, yeah.
peloton or whatever it's called, just moved. So yeah, here comes the balls, Yolanda. I knew you was gonna make
Yep,
me say that.
yep. They love being
Yolanda
mischievous.
sets me up for failure. So, but yeah, you're gonna see some activity, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
hi
energy there.
Jackie. So yeah, if you notice the ball has not turned off yet,
You got three active right now.
do I, Brian?
You got three dolls right now. The one is more of a childlike. The other two are more childish.
Great. Okay, you can turn off. Yeah. See? Behind me. Now these balls don't stay lit that long.
No.
They don't. That's what I'm saying. If I had the EMF, maybe I should get the EMF and tape it up there too, where y'all can watch it. So, uh, this has been ever since I got the twins out earlier. This has been nonstop. That's why I'm saying it. It scared me. So,
Yeah. But they have so much energy that they want to release in that. Plus, all your equipment is letting off energy. So basically, it's a real feast of energy.
look at Sean. Yeah, I got to hit the laughter button. Yeah, y'all get it. I'm glad y'all get a kick out of it. Yeah, I mean, you all sign off the show when you're all done. I gotta live with them. So, but yeah, but no, I'm trying to upload the videos to TikTok right now.
I'll
Hopefully they're
make you a
not too
kick out for
long.
sure, Nicole. Yep.
It just freaks you out because you know you can't see it, right?
But
But I
you can
don't
feel
know.
it.
Yes, yes.
You
And
can feel the
when somebody sits
mischievousness.
there and takes the fingers and rub there, see? Now that's like static electric. There you go. What I tell you, see? Static electricity. I felt that coming right behind me. So it's he. Yeah. So, but yeah.
The Ghost
But,
Hotel. Yeah. So is the land too, Kelly.
see, Nicole, I'm glad I'm not the only one, girl. Call my house the Ghost Hotel. So many spirits come and see me. I bet. Face red, droopy eyes. I hope not. Man, when you say that, Sean, I'm
That's
thinking.
for me.
My TikTok account is Grizzly Bigfoot Cryptids. I'll type it out. Grizzly. Well, actually, I'll even do one simpler for you. This, you can find me on everything. I got one simple button you can hit.
Yep, it's Brian Nathan Medium 1.
Normal. Let's see here. I can look. I'm so nervous. I can't even spell paranormal.
Her abnormal then.
I know, right? I heard that. I just now caught that.
Yeah. Well, spirit energy can cause lights to flicker. That's how they say, "Hey, we're here." They say they can manipulate. See, their energy. They can manipulate anything that's physical, including lights. In fact, lights are one of their favorite because they use energy. It emits energy. So basically, it's a feeding.
Well, I didn't copy my link. Hold on, let me hit this link one more time here, ladies and gentlemen. Here. Let me try it again here. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I made this to where all you have to do is just hit one button. There we go. Now I said I copied. And I felt that. It was like, and then the ball went off. So yes, I felt that right before the ball went off. So if you click on that, ladies and gentlemen, that will get you all my links where you can find me, and that'll also get you to my TikTok account, where all my TikTok videos and everything will be on there. You just click on that, and it'll give you all my links. And that
I gotta
way,
post it on my profile, that website.
So, but yeah, Kelly. I was sitting on my couch the other day, and I got electric shock, and I was at my cousin playing pranks on me again. I kept telling him not to do it, but he doesn't listen to me, Brian. So, wow.
I know he doesn't listen to me either. I'm gonna have to get my guy to be a little more aggressive to him. Like, hey, guy, you gotta stop it.
Yeah. So, Yolanda, follow me, and I'll follow you right back, since I know what your TikTok is. Because I try to follow everybody that follows me. So, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes, I'm on TikTok,
on my
John.
profile, that Paranormal Hub. Yep. Get the word out.
Yeah. No, Kelly, I can't wait to get you on the show. I really can't, because you got so much going on.
You'll love her to death. And she is so comical. And
absolutely.
You'll love her accent. You'll love it.
Oh, she have an accent too? Everybody's got accents.
Just like that, just like Derek.
Does it sound like this?
Better.
I got this one girl from UK. She sounds like a Viking. Hey, Linda, welcome to the show. Glad to see you. I can't even. Hey, when she talks, she sounds like she's talking in tongues. She sounds like a Viking 10 times fold. And I just say amen, and everybody laughs. And they're like, it just takes a while to get used to her talking. So Yolanda says I don't. So, but yeah, but it is very, like I said, it's the energy. Right now, I got so much energy going on in here. I can actually feel it. Yeah, it's resonating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you are from England. See, So you do have that. You do have an accent. So, and Yolanda's from Nebraska. So, yeah, so you do have an accent too, Yolanda. And Joanne Jackson, Kelly, where are you from UK? I'm from Birmingham. So everybody in here has got accents. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, including you, Grizzly. You got an accent
Oh,
too.
well, no, and they make fun of me. I'm like, well, listen to you all.
Yeah,
So not much happening here. Born in mosquito.
I'm the one with the weird accent.
Yeah, you got it. Yours is a little different too.
Yeah, mine's
But
weird.
now, when you go places, now you pick up on stuff, right? Now, do you sit there and you Google stuff to validate, or you just
No,
when you get names and stuff, or do you go back later and do that?
What I do is and I see a lot of the investigations the team goes on is this part I love about me being in Canada and they're in the UK is whenever they go out to, no matter where they go, and they go out quite a bit, is I tell them, just tell me what time you're coming on. That's it. Okay. And then I'll let my guide tell me everything about where you are. And that what happens is even when Derek goes out, usually he won't he'll know very little or nothing about the location. We pick up on stuff, and then when they leave, that's when Derek does a bit of research into the property, and then he validates how much we got right, how much we got wrong, and that I love when they like. He doesn't have to give me any specifics. He just says, "Well, by the way, Brian, when we were out at that location last weekend, all the stuff that you came up with, spot on." They didn't even tell me what I was spot on with. In fact, I don't really care.
So, what's weird, Joanne, is that it's coming on and shutting right off. It's coming on and shutting right off, and it usually don't do that.
And the best part
usually
is
it comes
they
on.
don't have to touch it in order for it to turn on.
Yes, usually it comes on and then shuts off, but it's coming on and shutting off. That's you see what I'm saying?
It's coming in surges.
Yes. Now look, it's staying on. See what I'm saying? And the last two times it came on and shut off. But so what's really interesting for the people in UK, I shouldn't be telling you all this. And there we go. There's the energy. See the energy in the ball? Did you see the light behind me? I'm actually taking on a case. I don't want to say a murder case, but an unsolved case in the UK. Not this Friday, but the next Friday. It's a well-known case in the UK. So Derek cannot be a part of it, but I am taking it on, and I'm getting the facts of the case. And man, somebody's happy.
Yeah.
So I am gonna take.
Paul's not very talkative right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a little upset with me because I keep telling him to knock it off.
My neighbor yesterday was really upset with me, and I was shaking with anger, and I felt my cousin was in the house because my nose was going crazy itchy. Did you? Yeah, Joanne. It's I tell you what, this case has really intrigued me, and there's that. I felt the energy before it came. And I really shouldn't talk about this on the show, but I don't like the way it was investigated, and I don't like the way that the police. I'm not going to talk about it, but it's a very questionable case, and it's still talked about to this day. The case is.
Yeah,
so
kind of. I wish they would have followed standard procedure.
Yeah, and and it's weird because even the coroner's report and the cause of death, it's not adding up. No, it's not, and it's like, No. And it how you getting me? We're not. There goes that energy above me. Did you see that light ray? See? And what's weird though is it's not. It's not. It's pulsating. I can feel the energy pulsating. See the light coming off my forehead.
Yeah.
But where did? We're not talking about the case. Good try. You almost got me. But it's gonna be interesting. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry. My heart goes out to the victim.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, with that case, the only image I'm getting is a hand holding money and doing this. In other words, money was an influence. But
Well,
that's all I
hopefully,
got.
Nicole, you're right, and hopefully, Brian, you are. There goes that ball. So, yeah, but now that just moved the mic stand. So don't. So the ball's already been activated. So, but no. Now Derek, what was really interesting on one of the shows, he actually picked up on the case and the victim, the target, before I actually even chosen the case, and already knew the victim and the target before the case was even
I
chosen.
know he's
That was
good.
wild. Yeah, that was wild. That happened like a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Because he called me up and he was like, man, he said, I don't know what's going on, but this is what I'm picking up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, I'm just telling you. And he said, we're going to be working on this. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it fell in my lap. And he called me up and he's like, hey, I don't want to say it, but I told you so. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Now, hopefully, Nicole and Yolanda, you're right. Because I need all the protection I can get. So,
Yeah.
well, what was the name? Crazy. What was the name? What of the target? It was the Summer Wells case. It was the girl. So if you're asking what Derek was picking up on, so I
Yeah.
don't know if it was that question to me or not.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Crazy Witch, Small Town Monsters came out with the Dogman movie. I just saw it today. It was pretty good. I didn't know that. Damn, I missed that comment.
I like to see
So
Transformers
Russell,
movie.
welcome back, Russell. So yeah, welcome to the show. Dogman Triangle in the Lone Star State. Yeah, so that's Dogman's really got me intrigued because a lot of people have. What do you think about the there goes that energy thing? I felt that. What do you think about Dogman? What do you think that is? Being a psychic medium.
The Dogman thing. I know Derek would say that it's another cryptid, but myself, I'd say it's some kind of character, if I call it that. That is definitely interdimensional, and that it comes in that they come in different forms, and the form that they've chosen in this case is a form that we would kind of recognize, and that and how to get around.
Tape.
Huh?
It came untaped.
Uh-oh.
You didn't hear that?
No.
Yes. While you was talking, that's why I was freaking out. I heard it on my earphones, my headset.
Yep. Yeah. See, a lot of these characters are interdimensional, and that's how they can get around is through a portal. And that, like, even Mothman or Bigfoot, and that, or whatever characters, and that's how they get around that down here, and that's why we know very little about them. But we're so fascinated by what they look like, their behavior, what they do. Yeah, you need.
I'm trying to remain calm at all times, ladies and gentlemen. If I didn't have handlebars on my chair right now, I'd be on the floor. I would be. Now, Kelly wants to know, Brian, I want to ask you a question. And this cat ball will not turn off. What do you think my paranormal gifts are, Brian?
Okay, well, from what you've told me before in the past, that you said stuff so easily, so I'd say you're definitely, well, I'd say you're more of a natural empath, not just an empath, then which means that you're extra sensitive. Plus, that's why, and your tip in the area that they always go for, the tip of your nose. Well, you're very sensitive to that. I think something must have happened to you as a child, and that where something has to do with the nose, and that plus you're what they call clairaudient, and that is you hear stuff. See, if you're clairaudient, that's hearing stuff. If it's clairvoyant, you see it.
No, I do not have high blood pressure. My blood pressure is so low, they sent me to the emergency room a few times. And the kettlebell won't turn off, ladies and gentlemen. There goes it will not turn off. No, I actually have low blood pressure. They every time they take my blood pressure, they can't figure it out. They're like,
okay, Yolanda, you said your heart chakra gives you troubles. Okay, I say that your chakras and that are a little bit off offline, off balance. Meditation would calm that, because you might be experiencing discomfort in that area, and that like I don't know, indigestion or cramps or whatever. So try meditation and see if that will calm it down. Okay. Now, one thing a lot of people have asked me about, and that at times, and that is, does a spirit person have to physically touch an item in order for something to light up or whatever? All they have to do is think about an item, like one of the twins looking at the ball, and say, okay, I want that ball to light up. All they have to do is manipulate the energy, and they can make the ball light up just by mere thought. And if you're strong-willed, they can move the ball around. And these two dolls are very strong-willed.
Kelly, I can tell you this. You need somebody to help you with your abilities, to mentor you, to spend time with you. You are going through a journey that you are confused, and I can tell that you're kind of lost, and it's normal. Don't be afraid. It's hard not to.
Be open.
So,
in fact, Kelly, one thing I was going to suggest, because you're a natural empath, one thing I was going to suggest is I have one group it's a support group for empaths. Okay, it's called Empaths Are Us, Support for Empaths. Okay, I strongly recommend for you to join that. That way you can learn more about, not so much about your abilities, but how to control them, to how to live with them, and so that so you're controlling your abilities, that your abilities are not controlling you. That's the key, is learning more and more and more about not so much about your gift as an empath, but also it also help you with your mental state as well, because because your gift as an empath and your mental health are interlinked. Okay, it's almost considered one. And that I learned that years ago the hard way. And like I said, join the group, get talking with different people that have same experience as you have. I've had many people that have had really frightening experience in the past, but nowadays they go, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have learned this a long time ago," or what have you. So I'll do, if you're not already a member, I'll add you, and there are many support people that can help you to grow and mature, as an empath and also as a medium. Because yes, Kelly, you are a medium. You're clairaudient. And that's so I believe that would really help you, big time.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I wouldn't do it by yourself. And
Nah,
then people want to know why they are on medication.
yeah.
Then they
Oh,
want to
God,
know
there
why
we
they
go.
go through depression. Then they want to know why that they think they are. There goes that flash of light above me. See it? See how it gets
Yep,
bright? And see the light over here by my shoulder, by the mic stand? See that
yep,
little ball of light?
yep.
See the tape? See the tape moving? See it?
Oh, yes.
See it moving? See it moving?
Do you have a fan in your office?
Watch it.
Yeah,
See it
I
moving?
see it wiggling. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and then they want to know why people go through, mental problems. And when I took
Yeah, sure,
psychology,
no problem.
I had the roughest time with that is because, I tried to tell my professor, and he kept saying, Grizzly, take the class. And I was like, but he's like, Grizzly, take the class. And I was like, but he's like,
Yeah.
Grizzly, take the class. And I'm like, but wait a minute, but there are
Probably
people
Nicole,
with
I'll send you a link.
abilities, you know,
In
and
fact, hold on a second.
now, now
I'm
that
gonna send you a
tape
link.
just got even bigger. Poe, did you see that? Did you see how far it is out now? You can't see it.
Lovely.
You see how you can't see it, but it is like inches now. It's look how far it's out now. See the
Oh,
light?
wow.
Yeah. Now that was me that made that activate that time. So that's debunked on that one. But and and that's a lot of things that people have problems with. And here's the link that I'm going
Yeah,
to
I
share
sent the link into my group. You
that
click
Brian
on
wants
that,
me to
and
share,
that will welcome you with open arms and open hearts.
and that's the group. So and that's one thing that I don't want you know any of my groups that I have and any of my shows that I do. I want it to be a safe place for people to come and speak their minds and their experiences. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
you
Well, we have
know,
very top security in this group as well.
yeah,
It's a private group, so you don't have to feel intimidated or nervous to post what you feel and stuff like that. And if you're still very uncomfortable about posting anything, okay, I also have turned on if you want to post anonymously. If you want to do that, go for it. If you don't feel like you really want to post it with your name on, you can post it anonymously, no problem.
yeah, and now, ladies and gentlemen, for the audio listeners for tomorrow, when I upload the audio on all the platforms and stuff, I'm not saying that we don't have, mental illness problems in the world. We do. And, when people call me that think that they are demonic, suppressed or oppressed, there are guidelines that I go by and there are questions that I have to ask. I'm not a
Of
medical
course.
doctor or a practitioner, and I'm not have a PhD or an MD by any means, ladies and gentlemen. But there are protocols that I must adhere to because, if I try to do something spiritually and there's mentally challenges, that we're facing and not spiritual, see how it's flashing and pulsating now above me? You see that? Uh, and I try to deal with it spiritually and they end up taking their lives, I don't want to be
That's sad.
responsible or have that on my conscience. What are you trying to tell me? I guess they just want attention tonight. So, and not the person that having spiritual issues or mental issues. I'm talking the dolls or the spiritual or whoever's shining a light on me. Uh, but that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah,
I mean, I take that very seriously. And when people get the spiritual warfare kits, it's not a miracle in a box by any means. Does it help? Yeah, absolutely. Uh, but you got to have one thing to back that up. And I tell everybody, you got to have faith.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's one thing that you got to have. Whatever you believe in, you got to have faith in what you believe,
Yes.
whatever power that you do believe in. There is a higher vibration, a higher spiritual than ourselves, a higher energy. If you believe in good, there is evil. And just like yin and yang, we talk about on different shows. Uh, and when it comes to frequencies and stuff, there is life after death, and we learn that. And I'm trying to ignore everything that's going on around me, but I can't. But we have countries, and we talk about this in other shows as well, that are curing cancers by frequencies, that are fighting cancer, and they're having good outcomes with that. So with interdimensionals, and we now know there's possibly 11 different dimensionals planes that
Oh, okay.
so when today people wanted to medicate and do stuff and try to put labels on people, I don't think that's the appropriate things to do. I think there's a lot more things that we need to do. Leslie Reeder, Linda Joe, I'm a bit confused with something. That's why it took me a while. I was a little nervous or scared, unsure what to do about how to move. I wasn't even debating something to move. Go forward in your decision. Need to be independent on your own changes. It's hard and even scary, but you need to move and have confidence in yourself, and you'll be fine. I feel you're having problems with family or someone close to you have known for a long time and make you feel unhappy with seeing around you. So Leslie Reeder doesn't know Linda Judd. Linda Judd is actually has abilities. So, are you sitting, Grizz? Is the truth? Are you saying is the truth? Help me out, Angel. Uh, Pride hand, yellow nails. Huh? Am I reading that right? What's that
Yeah.
mean?
Right hand, yellow nails.
I
I
don't know what
think
that
that.
means. Brian,
Oh,
what's the difference between hearing your guides and being schizophrenia?
okay. Basically, when it comes to schizophrenia, and that you see, it's really a chemical imbalance in the brain, and all you hear is just a lot of distorted words that don't really make any sense. And that usually it's yes, no, yes, no, like it's really it's confusing. Okay, where when you're speaking with your spirit guide, okay, it's direct. Okay, you understand what he or she is saying. It's not all garble and that, and also if you ask a question, okay, you'll get an answer back. And that now how your guide answers back depends on him and depends on what you can take in, and that and you also learn that way. Well, schizophrenia, and that it's just like, well, some people call it thought broadcasting, and that where a lot of stuff that you hear in your head doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's all garble. It's like blah, 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 that kind of thing. But with speaking with spirit, it's it's kind of being on the phone. Okay, you might not give the answer back when you want or how you want, but at least it's communication. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense.
And I actually did a little quick snippet of a definition on schizophrenia for people out there that don't know what the true definition is. And this is a medical MD snippet of it. And it says delusions, these are false beliefs that are not basis in reality. For example, you think that you're being harmed or harassed, certain gestures or comments are directed at you, or exceptional ability or fame, or another person is in love. And it goes on and gives you more examples. So, and this is where that we start talking about schizophrenia. So this is a big difference between spirit guides, what Brian is talking about. So there is a real huge difference
Yeah.
in that.
And
Now,
not
if
only that, my mother-in-law, she was schizophrenic.
you talk to a psychiatrist or a
Psychologist.
psychologist and you tell them that what we're talking about, then they're going to label you as that you have this disorder. But there is a difference because they do not acknowledge, people with abilities and psychic mediums or paranoia. That is correct, paranoid, bipolar, and depression, and all that other stuff. And that's one of the things why I'm coming out with this book on psychics that Brian's a part of, and it's featured in the book, is because every psychic and medium or anybody that has abilities that I interviewed within this past year has grown up that had depression. Uh, and I'm not going to mention who, but a
Hey,
lot
I
of
suffered
people
from depression
attempted
when I was a kid.
suicide, wanted to commit suicide because they didn't fit in. They were outcasts.
Same here.
Uh, they didn't understand why they were different. And I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, I'm 49 years old, ladies and gentlemen, and think about how they were treated back then, and think how they were treated 50, 60 years ago. I
Yeah,
mean,
like me,
look
I'm
at
60.
yeah, I mean, look at the asylums. I mean, look at Waverly Hills. My
Yeah,
mom used to work there. My mom in her 20s used to play in the tunnels and in the dust tunnel where they used to body sheet.
yeah.
That's not even 45, 48 minutes away from where I live now. So that's very serious. And is it a more wide open subject matter to talk about? Yeah, but you look at the United Kingdom, right? UK, and all these psychic mediums are being called out and fakes, and now they're upside down over there about all these people that are phonies. And now we got one in America that's been well known for years that just came out and got busted for being a fake. I'm not going
No,
to name who it
it's
is,
sad.
but the ones that I deal with are vetted, and how I vet them is certain questions, and they're easy to vet, the real ones. And the easiest way to vet somebody is to sit there and let them do their thing on you. And when I mean this, Kelly and Nicole and Angel and everybody else in Russell, is they will tell you things without you have to ask or answer any of their questions. Now, I cannot tell when somebody comes to me if it's a mom, dad, aunt, uncle. I can't tell that difference between that energy. I'm not that well versed. Like when that lady's uncle come to me, I just saw a tall guy. It was an older guy with a box. I didn't know who it was. I had to ask, did you just have somebody that passed over? Because it's a tall guy and this is what he looked like. And she had to confirm it. That was validation to me. It's not like he was saying, Grizzly, I'm so and so's uncle that passed 6 years ago. I'm here to give a message. That's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes people don't see the person; they just know by the energy. And is that correct, Brian? Am I talking out of character?
Yeah, exactly. And
So
that, yeah, see, if someone comes forward and you don't know if it's a male or female energy, you don't know if it's a relative or a stranger, and that it depends on your level of sensitivity as to what you can perceive, and that in my case, I can tell if it's a male or female, if it's younger or older, and sometimes I can find out if it's family or not, and that. But other people, they can just see, like you, Grizzly. They can see the person, but that's it. It's very limited. But even having that, to be able to see them, like, oh, okay, here a guy just came forward. He's got a message. Who he is, I haven't got a clue, but he's got a message. And that, with me, I'm more into the I try to describe the individual. Were they a very nice person in life? Were they very not nice in life? Um, were they compassionate? Were they not? Like kind of like reading their energy and that, and then getting to know if it's male, female, older, younger, whatever. So yeah, exactly.
And I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, from my experience, if they are not nice here in this realm living, they are not nice when they cross over. And that's a fact. Is that
Oh
right,
yeah.
Brian? If they're
Matter.
nice here, then they're nice on the other side. And I don't
Yep,
know why
exactly.
that is. It just I felt that. I felt that over my shoulder before it happened. It
Yep.
was like I'm being charged.
Yep.
But it's weird,
You're 100% right.
So I have somebody in the family that has abilities, and they kept it a secret for a long time. And I think that was why I was so well with doing interviews, interrogation, and some of the stuff that I did for the longest time. And that explains a lot of things that I knew, but I'm still afraid of it. I still shut it out most of the time because it's scary. Because I don't like to talk about it too much because it's hard to differentiate whether it's me or Kelly. Is it me talking to myself, or is it me hearing voices? Because it's hard to explain, and I know what you're going through, and it's enough to drive you crazy. But I'm
Oh, for
fortunate
sure.
enough to where I have people that I can talk to, such as Brian, Kelly, Joe, and a whole bunch of other people that I can say, hey, this is what I'm going through. Or I don't have to say a word. They contact me. They're like, hey, Grizzly, it's okay. You're going to be fine. I'm like, I hate when y'all do that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I could be working on something throughout the day and working on advertisements or promo for a show. And I'm like behind, and they'll call me up. I'm like, just take a breath, Grizzly. You'll be fine. You'll get it done. I'm like, I hate when y'all do that. There it is again. The wrong shoulder. My left's your right, my right's your left. So yeah. But I have a rough time meditating. That's one of my problems. That I'm always busy. I'm always on the fly because I do everything solo.
Yeah.
My first, he was alive and had learning disabilities and dyslexia, and hey, who doesn't have learning disabilities?
I
Uh,
did.
Everybody does. Everybody's got ADHD, DDHD, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got some form. I never forget in my early 20s when I was sitting there seeing my primary care physician, and she was like, "Oh, I'm glad I took my medicine today." And I was like, "Huh?" She's like, "Yeah." And she told me the medicine she was on. I was like, "What? What?" And I'm like, "You're my doctor?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "You don't know a lot of people's taking these psych medicine?" Yeah, if I didn't take my psych medicine, I wouldn't be normal. And man, I about flipped out. So whatever, it's getting excited. I'm going to tap the ball and make sure it's lit. Okay, it's lit. But it's just everybody. It deals with things differently,
Of course,
and
that
some
doesn't
people
make you so
cannot
unique.
deal with certain things without medicine, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I never judge a book by its cover. But you got to have a good support system. I can tell you that much, Kelly.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
very
Everybody
important.
does.
So, yeah, Angel, you're right. I think it depends on the person, and that is, it really does, and that's the most important part of it. But what's really sad though is that you have these people that don't understand, and and Brian would tell you this is that whatever abilities you have, you're not going to be right all the time. You know, uh, you know, you can't ask somebody with abilities, what's the lottery numbers. I wish it was that easy. Now, some of them numbers relate to colors. It's weird to understand it because everybody with abilities is different and they're not all the same. They don't operate the same. It's not like a combination lock. The old ones where you twist and turn, like a lock on a safe or a push button that's not how they operate, and I actually went through, and I can't remember how many. I have to go through and look at my journals, how many people I studied from when they were born and how they got their abilities, whether it's from a tragic, event in life, near death experience, passed down from their parents, or skipped a generation, or skipped 2 generations. It's very interesting. We can go on and on about this subject, and that's why I was told I was going to write a book, and I laughed. I never thought I was going to write a book about this stuff. I mean, come on. And lo and behold, Kelly Jo, hey Norma, welcome to the show. Is she has never been wrong with me. I thought she was full of doo doo a lot,
Yeah.
and I would laugh at her. And she said on the last show, I laughed at her. And I don't laugh anymore. A lot of things at the time didn't resonate. Yeah, you're right, Nicole. Everybody's brains does work extremely differently.
Yeah, we're all
And
different, we're
I
all
tell
unique.
people, if Brian tells you something right now and it doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. It
Yeah,
may
that's
not
fine.
make sense, but it may make sense tomorrow. It may make sense next week. It may make sense later, some point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
So for some reason, it's like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, this energy. And I don't know why. So, but, you know, and that's the way it is. And it, it's very interesting to learn about people and to understand each person with abilities
Yeah,
and
exactly.
everybody that has the abilities. Uh, and that's why I have certain ones on certain shows and have a variety of people across the world, so you all can express in inner and quantum entanglement. You want to use that word? We can throw it out there in experience and encounter with them and see what they go through and validate things. Because a lot of these people, unfortunately, cannot work jobs, and they have to do this for a living. And it's sad because can they turn the switch on and off? Some can, some can't. Um, I have people right now that cannot be around other people because of the energies that they pick up from other people. The spirits won't leave them alone, even though they put up the wall. They tell them to leave them alone, and they still don't leave them alone. And I mean, we can go on. I mean, it's a rabbit hole.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
Now, do you have people out there that just want your dollar? Yeah, absolutely. And once again, it goes back to the fakes of being, exposed and stuff like that in UK and in America and on Facebook and whatever else. Yeah, absolutely. And people ask me all the time is, who do I go to? Well, go to people that you know that used them before, have recommendations. If people ask me who to go to, who I recommend. We do the shows with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, if Brian didn't care about people and stuff like that, Brian wouldn't be on the show right
No,
now
I say that. I
and
say that.
giving
That yeah.
stuff. Brian would be like, dude, you want information? It'll be $9.95. You pick 3 cards, and I'll give you
Yeah.
three informations. And that's the way some people are. You want info? You're gonna pay me. You're gonna pay for
Yeah.
my gifts. And then we
Let me
got
ask
another show, and we'll ask people, where did you get your gifts from? And they're like, oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. And then you ask them, is it your spirit guides? Well, yeah. Well, what's their name? And then they give you a demon name, and you're like, ah!
I don't think so.
I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I trust him. Well, you don't. That's a demon, and you don't have to trust him. But yes. But anyways. But yeah. Yolanda, Brian, Grizz, everyone on here are great. People love you all. Well, we appreciate that. You know, we really try. We're honest
We love
people.
you too.
Always say, you know, real people, live, uncut, in real encounters, and that's the way we are. You know, don't be fake or phony. Norma, my aunt, were able to see and hear spirits, and she was diagnosed as schizophrenic. See, and was put on heavy meds, and she was like a zombie. Yeah, and that's what they did back then. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was exposed back in the late 70s, early 80s, when the news media went to these asylums and they were like, good God, look at these people naked on meds. They were like skeletons sitting in feces and urine and walking around naked and stuff. And then that's why I think all these asylums were being closed and people were being, I can't say it because we're on YouTube, but on other channels I can, as abused, you know, and I'm talking about where they were having children because the orderlies and the staff were, you know, abusing them, you know what I mean by having children. But
absolutely.
So yes, Yolanda, I had people on shows before. I would ask them, and they would tell me, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a demon." I'm like, "What do you mean you didn't know it was a demon?" So yes, I was born with my paranormal gifts, but I didn't get my gifts to my late 30s. You always had your gifts, you just never knew, and you never was open to
You were
them.
born
You
with them.
suppressed
It's just that you didn't
them.
recognize it. You didn't acknowledge it.
That is correct.
Same here. It's the fear of the unknown
Mine
and fear of
really
being
came to
protected.
me. Yes, you're right. Mine really came to me when I went on my spiritual journey last year, and when I start really diving deep in with people with abilities, and it really opened me up and really made me step back and think about things because I went into this to hoax a lot of people. Like I'm going to catch you, right? There we go, to catch you and defraud you and all this other stuff. And everybody's like, everybody I came across, I never came across the fraud. And I don't know if they knew what I was doing and they stare clear of me, or everyone I came to was pure hearted, and I just came across all the good ones. So I did, didn't I? So I guess somebody's agreeing with me. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. So now we're getting active again with the ball. So but it is. And you know, Kelly, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It what is to be ashamed of, Kelly, is that you got to be careful who you talk to about it. That's the bad part. Because people will label you and people will think that you're cuckoo and you're off your rocker.
Yeah. There's still a
But
lot of
that's
bad
what's sad.
stuff around it.
And one thing that hey la la, and one thing, and I was just talking about you earlier, but I didn't mention your name. But I had a session with my dolls, La La, and I was freaking out about them. But just let you know. But you know, one of the things that I would like to know is how many people with abilities didn't know they had abilities that actually committed suicide or attempted to commit suicide. I want to know those statistics. And I don't think we ever will know because of the medical field and the doctors, how they put labels on people. And that's sad. It really is. And from what I dealt with interviewing people, just like Lola Bright, and she's one of the ones that's in the book as well, that I'm very honored to have. And I know what people go through, just like Brian and Lala. And it's sad. So, yes, you see the light, la la. Yes, my balls are going off, and she's going to get some. Introduce her to the cat balls. La la is very, very talented. She's got, you would not believe, La La Bright LLC.com. Check her out. Very interesting. But yes, but it's really sad, and you know, when you have these fakes and phonies out here. But when you find the genuine people, that's the ones you need to embrace. So, but I didn't mean to go on a tangent there or a rampant or whatever. So Norma's like, "Woo, what?" Norma, you don't know what you missed. There's all kinds of stuff going off earlier. So yes, absolutely. Welcome to the show, La. Yeah. So absolutely. So Jackie's here tonight. I got the twins out, and I got some other ones out. I had to, yeah, you don't, Lala was like, yeah, she was telling me about the trying to, yeah, I know about the dolls on. But yeah, but if you never met Lala, check out her website. So yes, absolutely, very interesting. So yeah, what do you think, Brian?
Yeah, we just love when different people come on the show with real guests, real talents, and that we absolutely just we adore them, and I
Yeah, we
learned so
do.
much from them as well.
Yeah, we do. But and don't be afraid, and anytime that, we do have these shows and we do have people with abilities that do come on, uh, they're here. And if you have questions, ask them, and don't be afraid to ask questions, and no matter how big or small they are, or don't, Kelly, you're fine. Ask away. It doesn't matter. Is Kelly, if you realize the questions you ask, it doesn't matter what psychic or what mediumship person or person with abilities you ask, it's always the, and you notice my hands are right here and the ball is going off on its own, ladies and gentlemen. It shows you're still getting the same answer, and that's the point. That's why they're grizzly vetted, and because you are going to get the same answer because they're all on the same page. That's why I
I
have them
agree.
on the panel, because we're all going to get similar questions answered, but also on the cases we're going to get different views because they all have different techniques, and they all have different avenues on how they get their answers on dowsing, remote viewing, uh, whatever else they use and how they do stuff. So yeah, absolutely. What else you want to add to it before we wrap up there, Con, sir?
Well, one thing I just want to quickly point out is that when it comes to people that they you know they know their own thoughts, then all of a sudden they get additional thoughts, thoughts that are not that they're not yours, and that it's this question of being able to discern and that your thoughts with someone else's, and that takes a bit of time to be able to distinguish between the two, and that. But once you know your answer or your thoughts, and you get thoughts that don't feel like it's yours, it's somebody else's, and that, well, strong chance, and that's spirit communication, and that's also known as thought sharing, and that's how I usually connect with my guide, is sending thoughts back and forth, getting to know mine, getting to know his.
Yeah, and it's really interesting that he brings that up, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing though is, if you ever have questions about sanity and so forth, Kelly Joe, Lala, Brian, Derek, they'll all tell you they're not doctors, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, they'll tell you that straight up, but they'll tell you what they feel from the heart, and they'll tell you, if they personally think that you need help, they're not going to tell you that on the air. They'll tell you, hey, sidebar me and let's talk, and then they'll tell you, some stuff that you probably need to know, but they're not going to tell you that on the air.
Of course
So,
not.
see, whatever is here is agreeing with me on that, because they're not here to embarrass anybody, and they won't do that. But if you have questions about stuff, reach out to them, and they're not going to sit there and give you their website address, their email address, their phone numbers, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, come on. They're out here to help, because they've been in your all shoes. They walk, that mile. And yes, they have, haven't they? What? I guess I'm just right on the money tonight in this last 5 minutes. It's really been active, but, take advantage of it. Ask the questions you want.
And we're here to help, not to judge.
Yeah. I mean, if that was the case, I wouldn't be doing this because I'm not getting paid for it, And thank you all for the ones that give me the stars because that helps. Thank you for Don Wyden, my sponsor, that helps me to pay for the ads and the subscriptions to help me to make the content because, man, this stuff's expensive, ladies and gentlemen, to get this stuff out there and to do all this. So I appreciate it. But from coast to coast and around the world, ladies and gentlemen, 18, 19 countries. I think we're in 15, 16 platforms, 113 Facebook groups, live streaming, 17, 18 audio platforms. Thank you very much to everybody. If it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't be here. And people like Brian. So that means a lot. So
bless all of you.
That's right. So y'all have a good night. We'll catch you on the next show. Tomorrow night, I think we got 3 shows. So we'll catch you then. God bless, and y'all have a good one. And take care. We'll see you guys.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!